Hi, welcome to my first YouTube video. My name is Leslie, and I wanted to just go over my 2024 reading highlights. It was a really great year in reading for me, and I wanted to share it with you guys and hopefully continue sharing my journey through 2025 reading. So just a little backstory of my reading history. I grew up with a home library. My whole family were really big readers. We had built-in shelves, a checkout system, over 1,000 books, so it was a real library, the whole 9 yards. So I grew up doing a ton of reading. But after I graduated high school, I kind of went through a slump. I didn't read a whole lot. I went into beauty school and I was so busy between classes and homework and a fairly active social life, I didn't have a whole lot of time for a bunch of reading. So I kind of slowed down, didn't read very much. But after I moved out, was living on my own, had a job, I had a small library of my own, and I would kind of pick up a book, devour it in a few days, and then go months without reading anything else. So I still knew I had that love of reading. I just wasn't actively pursuing that as a hobby. So in 2021, I got married, and one of my wedding gifts was a Kindle. And I didn't really use it a whole lot at first, but in 2022, I kind of picked back up the hobby of reading, sporadically reading starting around March, and then consistently on July 28th, I started reading again every single day, and my Kindle reading streak is approaching 1,000. I will hit in 2025 a 1,000-day reading streak on Kindle. So that's really exciting. As of today, January 19th, 2025, I'm at 906. So in a few months, I will be at a 1,000-day reading streak on my Kindle. So that's really fun. I have really enjoyed using my Kindle more. I've upgraded since then, and I love reading before bed, so I have the whole setup with the Kindle stand and the page turner so that I can read all cozy in bed before I go to sleep, and it's been really fun. In 2022, I picked back up using my Goodreads. I used it quite a bit back in the day, but since I hadn't been really reading, I hadn't used it. So in 2022, I started using it again, and I read 31 books without even trying. 31 books. I thought that was amazing. So in 2023, I set the really ambitious, what I thought was totally unrealistic goal of 100 books. And in 2023, I ended up reading 116. So in 2024, I'm like, go big or go home. I made an even more ambitious goal of 150 books, and I ended up reading 175. So, like I said, 2024 was an amazing reading year. So let's go into some of the highlights, some of the really cool things that I was able to accomplish with reading in 2024. Starting with series. It was a really great year for series for me. For years, I have been reading the Goldie Bear Culinary Mystery series. It's a cozy mystery. It's set in a fictional mountain town in Colorado, and I'm from Colorado, so that was kind of fun. I read it growing up. I read a few of them, but I restarted that series, and I think 2023 is when I restarted it. Started kind of gradually reading through them, and in 2024 I finished that series, all 17. Well, I didn't read all 17 in 2024, but I finished it. So that was really fun. Kind of a series close to my heart since I grew up reading it. Another one that I have read for years is the Hercule Poirot series by Agatha Christie. I started that a really long time ago. I had read a few out of order, and then I decided, you know what, I really love these books. I love Agatha Christie, and Then There Were None is one of my top 5 favorite books. And so I decided to start the Poirot series from book 1, and I finished that in 2024 as well. There are 38 of them, so I finished the final one. And then I started and finished the Bridgerton series in 2024. That's 8 novels and 1 novella. And I think that that is a really fun universe, and I have since this year started the prequels and I want to read the Smythe Smith ones as well that are interconnected in the Bridgerton universe. I just think it's really fun, especially if you like Regency romance. It's a really good series for that. I also discovered some new favorite books, like The Nightingale and Night Road by Kristen Hanna, The Clocks, which is one of the Poirot ones. That became one of my new favorite Agatha Christie books. It was amazing. And then I started the Shady Hollow series by Juno Black, and it was so cute. I mean, it's a cozy mystery with woodland creatures as the characters. I mean, what's not to like? So I'm very excited to hopefully get, I want physical copies to match the one I have. Hopefully get the rest of that series. There are currently 5 of them. I don't know if it's complete or not, but I want to read that series. I want to continue it because it was just adorable and I loved it. I also discovered some new authors in 2024. Lucinda Berry. She has some really great psychological thrillers. She is a child psychiatrist, so when she's going into the psychiatric bits of her characters, she knows what she's talking about. They're really great, really well written. Of course, Kristen Hanna, for literary fiction and general women's fiction, amazing. I don't finish her books with a dry eye. They're so incredible and so deep. I now own quite a few of hers. I have only read a few, but I really have enjoyed the ones that I've read. I mean, obviously 2 of them are some of my top books of the year. And then also Karen Slaughter, I discovered in 2024 for some really intense suspense thrillers, which thrillers and mysteries are my favorite genre. And she writes some really intense ones, check your trigger warnings, but she has very quickly become one of my favorite authors. I am loving her books. I eat them up, every single one that I've read so far. So I have started the Grant County. I've read a few of the Will Trent, and I've read several of her standalones and duologies, and I want to continue both of those series and continue reading more of her standalone stuff. Another thing I discovered in 2024 is audiobooks. I had never listened to an audiobook before, and I had a book I was reading from Kindle Unlimited, and it was kind of getting a little slow there in the middle, and I thought, you know what, this comes with free Audible. I'm going to give it a try. And I loved it. Like, audiobooks are such a production, and they're such a different but fun way to listen to or to read books. And especially ones like Remarkably Bright Creatures, that one was amazing on audiobook. And even if a book is feeling a little bit slow, if you read the audiobook, it just really lifts it up, makes it a bit more entertaining for books that are maybe a little bit slow, but you still want to read them. So that really upped my book count. I think that's a huge factor in how I was able to reach 175. Because I do commute a lot for work. So I've got I think around 5 hours a week of commute for work. So that's 5 hours a week at least that I get to read audiobooks when I wouldn't have done any reading before. So all of that just made for a really fun reading year. And I have a few goals for 2025. And the first one seems a little bit counterintuitive, but I set a lower goal. So my goal for 2025 is 100 books. And I want that to provide me less stress, because with such a high goal, even though it's achievable, every time that I'm playing a game or watching TV or doing anything that's not reading, I just have in the back of my head, you should be reading. But reading isn't a chore. Reading is a hobby. Reading is fun. So by setting a lower goal with less stress, I want to bring back, not that I didn't have joy in reading, because I did, but it will really bring more joy because it won't be this looming number. And even though it's all in my head, there's nothing that says if you don't reach your reading goal that you failed. It's just an arbitrary number that I've put out there for myself. But by having it lower, it'll still lower my stress because I think I'm competitive with myself. I don't care what other people read. You read one book, you're a reader. You read 1,000 books, you're a reader. I'm not in competition with anyone but myself. And so I want to lower the bar for myself so I'm not stressing myself out. I also have switched over to primarily using Fable instead of Goodreads. I really like the interactive nature of Fable. You can find people that are interested in the same books as you and hear what they have to think about it. And I like that they do quarter stars, because sometimes a book's not quite a 5, but it's better than a 4. And Goodreads you'd have to choose, is it a 5 or is it a 4? And Fable, they let you do quarter stars. So I think that's really cool. And so I want to rate and review the books that I read on Fable in 2025. And I really like the interface. I think it's prettier to look at. It runs smoother. So I still have my Goodreads, but I'm not actively using it for anything other than my Kindle is linked to Goodreads. So any book I read on my Kindle goes on my Goodreads, but I'm not actively putting on my physical books or my audiobooks on there. So increasing Fable, to make a long story short. I want to use Fable more. And then the final one is I have a TBR list on my phone. It's not even up to date. I have books on my mental TBR that are not on that list yet, but it's currently standing at 246 books. So I know it'll increase as new books come out. It'll increase as I hear about new books. It'll increase if I actually update it from my mental TBR. But my goal is to whittle it down. I don't have a goal number that I want to whittle it down to, but just something less than 246. So those are just a few of my goals for 2025. So I guess I could say another goal that I have in 2025 is to make more YouTube videos, because, it's fun. Why not? And if even a couple of you are interested, then that's good enough for me. So that's what I hope to accomplish in 2025. So if you'd like to stick around and continue my reading journey with me, feel free to subscribe. And if not, maybe you'll come across your page again and you can catch up. So, but that's all for now. So, bye. Thanks for watching.